The tale of the Minutemen began shortly after the Great Fallout. The world was in shambles, the survivors scattered and the cities empty and desolate. It had been less than a year since the bombs had dropped and the world had changed drastically. The survivors, who had managed to make it through the initial blast, were few and far between. Most of them had been able to make it to the safety of the small towns and villages that dotted the countryside. But even those locations were not safe. The radiation and other fallout from the bombs had seeped into the soil and the water supply, making it difficult, if not impossible, to sustain life. It was in this environment that the Minutemen were born. A group of survivors who had banded together to protect each other from the dangers of the outside world. These brave souls decided to take matters into their own hands and protect their own. The first task was to build a place of safety. The Minutemen chose a large, ancient castle that stood atop a hill. It had been abandoned years before, but the walls were still standing, and it offered a safe refuge from the outside world. The Minutemen quickly set to work making the castle their own. They cleared the debris, repaired the walls, and fortified the castle with what little they had. It was a daunting task, but the Minutemen persevered and soon had the castle standing tall and strong. With a fortified base of operations, the Minutemen could now begin to rebuild their lives. The Minutemen began to gather resources from the surrounding area, scavenging what they could and trading with other survivors. They also began to construct small homes and buildings around the castle, which would serve as their base of operations. Slowly but surely, the Minutemen began to create a small community. They worked hard to make the castle and its surrounding area a place of safety and security. The Minutemen established laws and regulations to keep the peace and defended their new home against any threats that came their way. Soon, the Minutemen had created a small, but thriving community. They had accomplished what many thought impossible, and had created a safe place to call home. The Minutemen had taken the ruins of the world and had built a new home for themselves. The Minutemen continued to rebuild and expand their community, and as time passed they began to create a better life for themselves. They established trade routes and welcomed new survivors into their community. They even made contact with other communities and were able to share resources and knowledge. The Minutemen had done the impossible. They had taken the ruins of the world and had created a new life for themselves. They had persevered and had created a new home. A home that would be passed down to future generations and serve as a reminder of the courage and strength of the Minutemen.